Picture a gas station, 1999. By the register, a squeaky wire rack of sunglasses spinning slowly. And there, between the trucker caps and the energy drinks, a pair of Ray-Ban Wayfarers, $19. The same shape JFK wore, the same shades from Risky Business and Top Gun, some of the most famous sunglasses in American history. Now, $19. Flimsy, a clearance rack afterthought. Today, that exact same model sells for $150, $200, or more. A status symbol, a flex. The plastic barely changed. So what did? Everything around it. And none of it was an accident. This is the story of how a dying $20 brand was deliberately, surgically rebuilt into a luxury icon, on purpose, by one company. First, you have to understand what Ray-Ban once was. In 1936, the American company Bausch Lomb built a pair of anti-glare sunglasses for military pilots. They called them Aviators. The name Ray-Ban meant exactly what it said, banning the sun's rays. In 1952 came the Wayfarer, with its bold, blocky frame. And for the next 40 years, Ray-Ban was woven into the culture. Presidents, movie stars, rock musicians. This was not a no-name brand. It was an icon, which makes what happened next so strange, because by the 1990s, that icon was on life support. Here's how you kill a legend, slowly, by squeezing it. Through the 80s and 90s, under Bausch Lomb, Ray-Ban got stretched thin. The brand was spread across more and more outlets, more and more cheap product chasing volume. Worse, the name got slapped onto so much product that counterfeiters thrived in the gaps. Knockoffs everywhere, advertised at prices so low, they trained shoppers to expect Ray-Ban to be cheap. Real or fake, the message blurred into one thing: this brand is disposable. By 1999, you could buy a pair of Ray-Bans for $19 at a gas station or a convenience store, right there next to the lottery tickets. And the quality had rotted. The company was using antiquated tooling. The frames were flimsy. By Luxottica's own account, Ray-Ban frames at that point fell apart about 4 times faster than its other brands. A famous name, stamped on cheap, breakable plastic, sold everywhere, to everyone. The prestige was gone. Ray-Ban had become a commodity. Then, in 1999, Luxottica stepped in. It bought Bausch Lomb's entire sunglass business, Ray-Ban included, for $640 million. A lot of analysts thought that was too much. Why pay a fortune for a faded brand drowning in $19 versions of itself? But Leonardo Del Vecchio saw something they didn't. The name still carried power. Decades of cool were still buried under that cheap plastic. He didn't buy a sunglasses brand. He bought a rescue project. And the rescue ran in deliberate stages. Stage 1, fix the product. You can't sell premium garbage. Luxottica pulled production together from 4 outdated factories, retooled, and raised the build quality. The frames stopped snapping. The lenses got better. This part is real, and it matters. The quality genuinely improved. That's the honest half of the story. But quality alone doesn't turn $19 into $200. The other half was pure positioning. Stage 2, control where it's sold. You cannot be a luxury object and a gas station impulse buy at the same time. So Luxottica did the counterintuitive thing. It pulled Ray-Ban out of the cheap channels. Fewer outlets, better outlets. Within a few years, the same brand that had been spinning on a $19 rack was being sold in Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue. And remember, Luxottica owns Sunglass Hut, so it didn't just choose better stores, it owned the shelf. It could decide exactly where Ray-Ban appeared and where it absolutely would not. Scarcity by design. Stage 3, raise the price and keep raising it. In 2000, a pair of Ray-Ban Aviators started around $79. By 2002, $89. By 2009, $129. Each jump dressed up with new materials, carbon fiber, better lenses. Today, the floor for basic Wayfarers sits around $150 to $200 and climbs from there. The price wasn't chasing demand, it was leading it. Because, as we've seen on this channel, for a status object, the price isn't just a cost. The price is the message. But here's the part that separates a price hike from a true repositioning. They didn't just make it cost more, they made you want it again. In 2007, Luxottica launched a campaign called Never Hide. Music, rebellion, cool. Millions of dollars of marketing pumped straight back into the myth, and the timing was perfect. Around the same time, vintage Wayfarers started selling for serious money on eBay. Celebrities were digging out old pairs. So Ray-Ban reintroduced the original Wayfarer design and rode the wave it had helped create. Now look at the full machine. Fix the quality, pull the cheap version off the market, raise the price step by step, then spend a fortune making the brand feel rare and rebellious again. A few dollars of plastic does not become a $200 object because you added lacquer. It becomes one because someone controls the quality, the shelf, the price, and the story, all at once. The status wasn't discovered, it was engineered, and it worked spectacularly. The year after the acquisition, Ray-Ban brought in around 250 million euros for Luxottica. By 2014, that number had passed 2 billion, an 8-fold jump in 15 years. Ray-Ban became the largest sunglasses brand on the planet. By the company's own description, the most recognized sun brand in the world. Luxottica even pushed Ray-Ban into prescription glasses, which carry fatter margins. By the mid-2000s, roughly a third of the brand's revenue came from prescription frames. And in 2013, it launched Remix, letting buyers design their own pair across hundreds of thousands of combinations, a feature that soon drove around 40% of the brand's online sales. The faded gas station brand had become a profit engine and a playground for upselling. And once it worked, it stopped being a one-off. It became a template. Buy an underpriced name, fix the quality, restrict where it sells, raise the price in steps, then spend big reloading the myth. That same playbook is how this company has handled brand after brand. Ray-Ban was the proof of concept, the blueprint for turning heritage into margin, and that engineered price travels. In markets like the Philippines, a pair of genuine Ray-Bans carries that same global premium, $150 and up. For sunglasses that cost a fraction of that to make, you're not just buying the shades, you're buying the repositioning. So go back to that gas station, 1999, the squeaky rack, the $19 Wayfarers. The pair on your face today is, in spirit, the same glasses, same shape, same name, plastic and a couple of hinges. What changed was never really the sunglasses. It was the price, the place, the story. Ray-Ban didn't climb from $20 to $200 because it got 10 times better. It got more expensive because one company decided it should be a status symbol and then built, piece by piece, the machine to make you believe it. The glasses didn't change. The story did. And by now, you should know, the story was always the product.